All right, guys, welcome. I've had so many issues to another video. I'm so nervous right now. I'm ridiculously nervous because I've done so many videos over the past week, or attempted streams, where there's been different tech issues, including even just 10 minutes ago, in which I tried to... everything was working, I was running a video, and I realised I wasn't... I'd set it to private. So let's try again. Hello, everyone. It should be an exciting video here today, exciting stream, because... I've got a lot of fun stuff to actually look at in Guild Wars that I'm out of the loop with, and hopefully, what I like to imagine is you guys watching this right now, you're also out of the loop with it too. And beyond that, there's so much I could talk about with IRL and all kinds of different things that are happening here. So let's just cut to the chase, the big thing that probably lured you in with the title, the thumbnail. We are going to get some new story here, we're going to get some new lore. So if you guys remember back... I almost said Eye of the North there. If you remember the end of Icebrood Saga, there was kind of this big gap with the game where they were scrambling to get End of Dragons out. There wasn't too much content going on. So what the studio did was they filtered in a little bit of lore with Bangar. So every now and then, like every week, you could go back to Bangar and you'd get another conversation with him. And it was really good. I genuinely thought that this was some of the best storytelling, because I love Bangar as a character, and it had Aurene there and Jormag, so you had all this cool Elder Dragon stuff, hints about Primordus. It was really, really exciting. They actually kind of did a similar thing back in the original game in the War in Kryta as well. And then that was even the same location. So that was a big success. And I remember when that came out, I said in videos, I said, this is brilliant, they should do more of it. And they did do more of it. Before End of Dragons, they had, like, research with Timey. Those ones I weren't so into. I don't know why. That was, like, the mystery of where all the bubbly magic had gone and was leading into End of Dragons. I don't know why that didn't captivate me so much. But... we're, of course, now we've had the first EOD patch. So End of Dragons didn't do it at the end, but it did have a lot of those big side quests about the vampires and stuff, so I'm sort of alright with that. But the Guyala Delve has. So last month the Guyala Delve came out. I did a quick playthrough of it. To be honest, I still have a ton left to do on this patch. And what they've done is every week since this came out, there's been new lore and story. And I don't know, I've kind of just thought... You know, we're in a weird place with the lore at the moment where they're sort of moving into new territory. Or hopefully they are, because the Elder Dragons are off the table. They do have this idea of demons and the mists, and there are some hooks from Guild Wars 1 that we can talk about and we can go into, but it's kind of a clean slate, really. So, I don't know, I've not been that excited to see what these little scraps of lore were. But now it's been, like, I say a month ago, it was 2 months, wasn't it? It's been a long time now, so there's a bunch of them available. Later on in May, so the other big thing that's just happened... I did manage to squeeze a normal video, not a stream. I managed to squeeze a normal video out last week with Boots, where we talked about this. This wave, I don't think we've done that yet. There was a big studio update where they essentially confirmed that there's no elite specs coming with these mini X packs. Some questions that people had. But what really caught my eye, and I talked to Boots about in that video, what caught my eye was that they confirmed this next patch, this expansion to the Guyala Delve, that's it. It's over after that for End of Dragons. That doesn't mean Cantha's done. We might go to Drowned Kaineng one day or whatever. I don't know. But I would assume the next X-Pack is not here. I would assume that it's somewhere far away so that it feels distinct or something. Maybe one day we'll come back or whatever. But what that does mean is probably there's a big story coming. It probably means that this last bit of the map we're getting in a couple of weeks ends End of Dragons... And we're off to the mini X-Packs, guys. They might even end it with a trailer. You remember how Season 2 ended with a trailer for Heartthorns? Big things might happen. And also in the preview, they revealed that after the next patch comes out, there will be Oni, demonic assassins, that can spawn and attack you anywhere in End of Dragons. So clearly something bad is going to happen, and we're going to create some kind of crisis here. Who knows whether the patch itself will be that good or whatever. So immediately now I'm thinking, these Gorrick conversations, this stuff that I've been missing out on, I'm somewhat interested in it now. And so I was looking at the Spud Discord the other day, and I haven't verified this. All right, I'm definitely building this up too much. It's probably going to be a letdown. But some people in the Spud Discord were saying that, like, lore enthusiasts have been going crazy about the information that's coming out of Gorik at the moment. That there's a lot to dig into, a lot to speculate about. It's all very exciting, apparently. Now, I'm a bit of a doubter at the moment. I'm a bit of a miser at the moment. But I will remind you guys that just this Halloween, they did that extra life side quest, which I also ignored initially. But people, the same people basically said, no, this is really good. It's good lore. We did a video on it, and it was really good, wasn't it? It was about the Messiah. It was about Jadon. It was about a lot of cool stuff that I really love about the world, and it really invigorated me. And that Extra Life quest is some of the newest stuff they've written. So, I don't know, I got high hopes. So, if we go into our achievements here, we go story journal. Hello to everyone in chat. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see that there are people who have made it to this video live. And it's working fine, right? It's not broken. I've had the engineer round. I've been wiring and cabling things up for so long. I actually had a bug with some of my recent attempts to make content where my audio was skipping weirdly, and I completely reinstalled OBS and everything to try and fix that. I spent ages, like, is it this scene that's wrong? Is it this source that's wrong? Is it this setting? Is it because I've optimized things badly? Blah, 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 blah. Ended up fully exporting all my stuff, reinstalling it, re-importing the stuff, tested it all out, and it worked, all right? So I was like, cool, I can get back to making stuff as soon as the internet's upgraded. And then guess what? Seriously, I woke up today, I tried it, and the bug was back. It was this weird audio clipping thing that literally rendered making stuff impossible, really. Like, it would just be terrible. And I realized it wasn't an internet issue at all. And it had come back this morning, but I've figured it out, all right? Here is a tip that no one will ever need, because, frankly, this is, like, tricky to diagnose. But when I moved, okay, I thought, right, I'm trying to be conscious about money at the moment, okay? Because I'm trying to, like, save. So I'm thinking, okay, well, one thing I can do is actually use Windows power settings. And what I can do is I can tell it to sleep the PC or log me out or whatever, turn off the monitors, you know, after 5 minutes of inactivity, 15 minutes of inactivity. So I just innocently did that a couple of weeks ago now. And it's been working. I've been like, okay, that's good. But it's something about my PC sleeping, and I think it's because I use the monitors for audio or something, I don't know what, but if my PC goes to sleep, when I unsleep it, it causes OBS to not record properly. I don't know why, it's definitely some weird specific configuration thing, but so you can see why this was a nightmare to figure out, because it's like, you know, you're going to have to track down to, were you AFK for more than 5 minutes after turning it on, but before testing it out on this day? Anyway, I figured it out, so, and I think my timer is set to like 15 minutes, so it was extra annoying. Obviously, you go away constantly. But yeah, so yeah, all right, hopefully it's all working, and you guys can let me know if it's not. I think the only thing right now is probably the game audio is a bit low, but whatever. So yeah, back to the achievements. Yeah, there's a story journal, delve into the haze. I haven't done too much. I have actually been playing quite a bit of the game. I've been playing a lot of PvP lately, but I've also been back in End of Dragons, trying to get AP here, like actually complete some of the content. And I'm doing all right, you know, actually. I've still got a lot of stuff to do, but I'm doing all right. I've got my eye on the 45k chest. You know, for all my time playing Guild Wars, I haven't really cared about AP chasing. I know I've got a fair amount of AP, but mostly I'm just seeking content out, you know. I'm not doing it for the AP, and I'm not doing it for the AP reward track either. Not for a long time. I mean, maybe when I was getting my first Hellfire set, you know, going up to the first Hellfire backpack or something. But I've never cared about these massive chests, the ones that give you the titles, because the titles all have horrible names. They're just... This is like the equivalent of God Walking Amongst Immortals in Guild Wars 2, and they've all got horrible names. I really think it was a terrible release. However, there are so few people at 45k, and it is such a treadmill to get there. And this one actually sounds quite good. Unstoppable. I think the next one as well is Unyielding. And they're actually pretty cool. I think I might actually rep this title. But I need another 500. So anyway, I've just been playing a little bit of End of Dragons. But not much Giala Delve. I don't know. I figure I'll do more of it later in the month, in a couple of weeks when they expand it. So delving into days. I've got all these achievements to do. I don't even have the meta done here, genuinely. I don't have this crappy hologram backpack thing. Oh, I suppose it is a cape. For some reason, I thought that was a little robotic backpack thing. But yeah, so there are 2 lore-based achievements for what it's worth. There's this one, Ongoing Investigations, the Jade Brotherhood. As far as I know, and I have read a little bit about this on the wiki, spoilers, it's about like Chul Mu and Yao, you know, Jade Brotherhood stuff, but I think you learn a bit more about the demons and the weird backwards speaking and the strange whispers, you know, and this new variety of void. I think you learn a little bit, but nothing too substantive. We might do that in this video. Okay, the other thing is this, sleuthing a solution. You see, I've got it eyeballed. I've got it eyeballed because I did that a second ago on the private video that wasn't going up. Listen to all of Gorrick's journal entries. So, I don't know, the patch is what, 2 months old? So we should have 6. Something tells me it's a couple of weeks on from even that. I think we might get 8. I think there might be 8 journal. You know, this time has moved so goddamn fast for me. I joked in the Spud Discord yesterday. I said, "Oh, can we just pretend it's February again?" But I'm back now, and I can finally pick up FF and stuff. But yeah, so we're just going to listen through these and see what's apparently so mind-blowing. The other thing that I want to do, and in fact I'm going to do this first. All right, I'm going to tease you a little bit here. Ages ago, like last month, there was a sale on the gem store for this item, and I bought it. The sale was for the 1000 Seas Pavilion Pass. So yeah, this is the End of Dragons premium lobby. If you remember, POF like had the Lily of the Ellen. POF actually had a few. I think this is the only one that's come out for like quite a few years now. So, you know, like a lobby might be like the Mistlock Sanctuary. You buy it on the gem store. This is probably the most populated one in the game as far as I can see. This one has good access to fractals and fractal potion vendors and stuff like that. And obviously always a lot of people around, and it's themed out in the mists. I'm a big fan of these items. I'm not really a fan of the fact they're on the gem store. I mean, it's alright actually. I don't know. To me, as far as gem store things are concerned, if you're selling me a place I can explore, like a quest or like, it's kind of like a bonus mission packy thing. It's like a really crappy, watered-down version of that, right? I kind of like... It feels a bit more like a DLC that I'm buying or something, you know, if I buy a pass. So at the top of my bank, I've got a bunch of passes, right? Like I like the Noble's Folly as well, because it's like it... If they're in their own instance, I think they're especially good. So this one is set in a cave high above the verdant brink. And this came out somewhere around Heart of Thorns. Some of them are a bit crappier, you know, they're just a tiny little area of a map, like a really small area. Like, some of the early ones were like, go to an airship above Gendarin, and I kind of like those even too, I think, for what it's worth. But yeah, a new one came out. It came out, I missed it. It was last year when I was on my big break, and I didn't see it at all. It returned last month, though. I bought it. I've never been there, though, so I kind of want to explore this. This, essentially, to me, is a new map. And I think it's got some cool treats. Can I just remind you guys as well, probably the best one in the game is the Armistice Bastion. And I'm not joking. I mean, the Fractal lobby is pretty goddamn good too. But the Armistice Bastion was amazing. And I remember I actually did a video dedicated to exploring this place when it first came out. Like, it's a huge keep that you can't get to in any other way. Set in World vs. World, so we're under World vs. World balance here. This is like the World vs. World lobby, if you will. There is a PvP lobby too. And they released a permanent version of that, which I got mailed the other day. But I've loved this one. I really had fun exploring this. And there's a jumping puzzle. Climbing up the outside of all these buildings is like an epic JP. I don't think they put like meaningful achievements in these places, but yeah, and then you can explore all around it. You can get on your Warclaw, because again, it's World versus World. There were the little arenas and stuff. I love the Armistice Bastion, and so I'm hoping that this this place, the 1000 Seas, sorry. I keep wanting to say 1000 Island. In fact, I've titled this video The 1000 Islands, and I think it's because I'm being influenced by the dressing. But what is this? This is the fishing pass, as far as I hear. So let's go. Let's do this, and then we can go look at Gorik. I've got a million things I could talk about, and I kind of want to react to chat as well as we go. I've got a lot of energy, guys, at the moment. I feel like so much of my life has changed. It's crazy. Just the effect of moving once you're finally settled, it's just so invigorating, you know. Cograth with the 100 SEK. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Oh, lots of people in chat saying that it's awesome. Is it really good, is it? Alright, well, it says, this pass provides permanent access to the 1000 Seas Pavilion, a beautiful isle adrift in the mists. So there's this concept art, which I remember was one of the earliest pieces of concept art they gave us for End of Dragons. We were doing speculation about it. A year and a half-ish ago. Oh, no, whoa, God, 2 years ago? Alright. Or maybe even more before that, actually. So here we are. Oh, my God, it's a little bit frame-lossy because of all the players. So I'm going to min these out. Also, let's put our shadows back to medium. As I said in my graphics optimization video, really going low on medium. Most PCs should be on medium shadows, I think, at this point. It has a negligible effect. So there's cats. I wonder if you can collect them. Probably not. I doubt there's any achievements or anything. But maybe there's a bunch to spy. Okay. Oh my God, we're high up. I think the only thing that might disappoint me a little bit is if this feels a bit much like the Guildhall, which instantly I'm already getting vibes of. Let's try and turn it up. Does it have nice music here? Oh, okay, it's got just general Canthan music, which is good enough. You know, if you think about it, in a couple of years, guys, we're a couple of mini X-Packs down the line. It'll probably be a bit of a novelty. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Where's this zipline going to take? It can take me all the way over there. Really? Oh, shit. It is pretty good, isn't it? It's quite elaborate. Oh, and there's an exit there. Hold on. Where are we on the map? Oh, by the way, there was a patch that, like, broke huge amounts of the game. Like, dynamic events were broken. Activatable items were broken. I noticed that zip lines, like, if we go back up, okay, zip lines were not taking you to the end of the zip line. They were, like, dropping you off before you got to the end. Just really broken. Now, ArenaNet are doing a thing. It seems like that's fixed now. ArenaNet are doing this thing, they said, where they're, like, refactoring the code or whatever. I guess what they're trying to do is clean it up so that new talent can come in and actually work with the goddamn thing. Because I assume the code base is a bit hellish to look at. And since they're pledging and dedicating to supporting this game long term, that's the kind of thing that, you know, would benefit them. All right, let's actually try and go through here. But it does mean things got majorly broke, like super spaghetti code these past few days. Prawn cocktail VIP? What? Time-based stuff. ArenaNet did an article on it. What do you mean time-based stuff? Oh, just the Gorrick conversations are time-based. Yeah, I mean, it's once every real-world week. Okay, so there's a portal to Tyria. Unstable and flickers with visions from across the world of Tyria, because we're in the mists. It could take you to many different fishing locations if you time it right. View destinations across Tyria. And then let's scope into ore. This portal is unstable. Yeah. Straight to Devastation, Malcor's Leap, Cursed Shore, Siren's Landing. Okay, let's say Siren's Landing. Is this going to take me to fishing in Siren's Landing? Or just the generic entrance? I'm quite impressed at that. If that's... Oh, wow, yeah, we are in a weird... No, we're at the normal entrance. Ah. I would have been impressed if they had unique entry points for all the fucking maps across all the seasons and all the game. Based on the fishing spots are there. I mean, someone came and actually put fishing spots in all these areas. There is some shore fish here, so maybe this counts. But I'm pretty sure this is where the boat just drops you off, isn't it? Alright, let's go back. I heard there's some good little quality of life features on this that you don't find... Well, I say heard, I read on Wiki. That you don't find in other passes. Like, for example, this is one of the passes where if you double-click it a second time, it will pop you immediately back in Tyria where you were before. Which is useful. Not all of the passes do that. One of the applications for that as well is you can, like, go to the end of a tricky jumping puzzle, double-click the pass, and now you can live your life and do whatever, right? You can craft, you can just sort of exist as a character. And if you ever want to pop back daily to the end of the puzzle, you can just click it again. So it's like having a character parked at the end of a puzzle, but with some more freedom as well. That's like one application anyway. And also, it takes you to... the Eye of the North or something. It's got some destination that the other lobbies don't have. Still, I think I've come to love the I've got the fractal one up on my hotbar now. My shared slots. And the reason I've done this is because this one's really good for getting quickly to the aerodrome. Like, you just go in there and then you walk slightly to the fountain and the aerodrome's straight there. I assume this is similar. Oh no, this is the Mystic Forge. This is a special Mystic Forge. Yeah, here you go. Which can, if you guys remember, for a while, like, it might even still be possible if you walked in the Mystic Forge in the right way during that current event, you could turn into an anomaly and all that. Anyone remember? This turns you into, or at Halloween, you jump in the cauldron and you come out as a different transform. This turns you into different fish. Like, yeah, there's this guy here. Different fish type creatures. And I know there's some fish tonics that you can only drink while you're underwater and stuff. But, this is not just those. This is loads of stuff. Like, you can turn into a Lagos, apparently. Like a full-on Lagos. Yeah, there you go. You can actually travel around. And there's no Lagos tonic, as far as I know, in the game. So it's pretty cool, actually. And Wiki, if you go to the Wiki page for the 1,000 Seas, you can see 1 billion of these transforms, all just listed out there. Some of them are a bit weird, though, right? Like, Lagos can swim, but if I try to go into the water now... I will get de-transformed. Also, you can see the strafe animations are a bit weird. I kind of like that they put this in. It's sort of a subtle way of reminding the player base the annoying things they'd have to do with animations and stuff to get this race working. It's quite good, though. The model's a lot more detailed than I thought it was. I don't know if they have male Largos as well. Let's have a look. Also, what's it like to zipline as a Largos? What's it like to zipline as a shark? Oh, I can't. That would have been very good. Okay, wait, but can I go down? Oh, well, hold on. Before we drop, anything else? So it's a crafting. Yeah, okay. Can I get up in any way? Is there a sneaky jumping puzzle? Does anyone in the live chat know if there's like a sneaky jumping puzzle here? I assume I would have read about it on the wiki. Maybe that and that alone is the thing that I loved most about the Armistice Bastion. No, the Armistice Bastion had a lot of good stuff. It must be hard to do a jumping puzzle when they don't really know what the reward is meant to be. But yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good day. I got my coffee here. One thing that's kind of fitting, I suppose, is this is a fishing lobby. Now that I've moved and I don't live in an area of the world with shitty water, I'm getting back into fish keeping, guys. I really am. I've already got a tank set up, an old tank that my girlfriend bought me years ago. And it's like one of the best tanks I've ever had. It's small, okay, so it'd be cruel to keep much in it. It can basically hold a better, basically. And even that I'm a little bit iffy about. But it's such a good tank because it's got like its own built-in filter system. Like you don't need an external filter. You don't need to deal with buying lots of weird media and stuff like that or cleaning it. You don't need loads of plug sockets. It's just really, really, really good. So I set that up and I got all inspired having set it up. And today it's about 11 in the morning, I think, at the moment. Later today, I'm getting a delivery for a new tank as well, which is basically a big tank. The thing is, it's difficult. So the one I'm talking about is like 28 liters, and people say that's like the minimum for a better, right? The next one I'm getting, the one that's getting delivered later today, is going to be like 64 liters. Now, I've owned a 64-liter tank before, but it was a very tall tank, so there was depth to the water, but there wasn't really much that the fish could swim left and right. I was never really this is beautiful here. I was never really very happy with the dimensions of it. This one I've got now is a bit longer and thinner and shallower, but is the same capacity. So it's just going to be much, much, much better, and I think I can keep some tetras and stuff in that, and they'll actually be able to swim left and right and be happy. And the best thing about this is, all the other bigger tanks I've had before, they all had their own separate filters or really crappy filters that you stick on with like suction cups and stuff. And then, you know, they just become a mess, or they don't work, or the fish get ill. This is just like the one that my girlfriend bought me that has like a really good filter system on it built in. And it's a higher literage, so just really, really, really happy with it, and I can't wait for it to come. I'm genuinely really excited. I can't actually get any fish or put it in it for a while because I'm going to do a nitrogen cycle. There's all this stuff, right? I haven't done this for about 6 years, genuinely. About 6 years, 5-6 years. And I'm like, oh yeah, wait, how do you do this? What do I do? How do I monitor the levels and make sure the bacteria are cycling and stuff? So yeah, it's an interesting hobby. It's a scary hobby because I feel really if you're a bad fish keeper and they get ill and sick and hurt, I don't know. I just feel a bit nervous about that. But you know, that's the price of taking care of a living thing, I guess. And it's only a fish or a few fish. Yeah, Fish Saga continues. WP Reborn. I've got a lot of energy, guys. I'm very, very excited to do things, and especially with this, I really want to get back to regular stuff. We were on such a good roll over Christmas. And, yeah, like I said, I wish it was just February again. So, as for fishing actually in this map, they're mysterious fish waters. I don't really know why we do it. Does anyone want to help me out here? I read on Wiki that it is infinitely 12 o'clock daytime. Here, and you can see that on my minimap. It says 12 day. Always it's noon, infinite. So it's actually kind of bad as a lobby. I'm sorry. But the point about fishing, right, is nighttime fish, dawn fishing, dusk fishing. And there's a lot of fish apparently in the game that are really tricky to get. You have to get them in that specific window. I'm hoping to do well, I've already done episode 1 of it, but do more streaming videos where we're fishing and keep getting more of those. Now, I think that this pavilion would be best if you could set the time or something, so it was infinitely dawn, infinitely dusk, or at least just have a normal cycle. Maybe that's too pay to win for people, right? Maybe. But at least have it cycle or something. But what it means is it's impossible to get certain fish here because it will never be the right time of day. Also, I think legendary fish are disabled here as well. I mean, I can kind of see why ArenaNet would do it, because you don't want just one... The beauty of the fishing feature is that you're traveling around different places at different times. Like that... I mean, what is it if it's not that? So adding just a lobby that negates all of that is probably a really shitty idea. So I sort of see the trap they were in there. Actually, do you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the original idea was to have like an ultimate lobby for fishing, and then they realized, oh no, it's a bad idea, and now they just had a theme but not a great application for it or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's nice. I feel a lot like I'm exploring the Guildhall here though. In terms of visuals, yes, but also in terms of like, I don't know when I'll ever come back. I mean, really. It does not surprise me to see no players here. Let me put it that way. I like that I'm exploring it. I like that I can say I've been to every area of Tyria, don't get me wrong. Or the game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's gorgeous, but, you know, I think we all know pink has never really been my vibe. Now, if in the next expansion we get a demon lobby, oh, you know, if we get a Realm of Torment lobby, where you look out across the horizon and there's all that like crazy skybox art of like demons and wriggling dragon heads and stuff, then yeah, you know, that I'll probably go there even if it's just for the visuals. You like this place when you want to go be alone? Well, you can go to nearly all the Guild Wars too for that, can't you? Whee! But oh man, Discord's got this new like voice like soundboard feature. I had so much fun with it the day that it came out. I was like boom 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 and like crickets in after, you know, every crappy joke. This is nice having a Shrine Guardian walking around. Opinions about future expansions, Otaka? I'm sort of into Utopia because, you know, there is this thing where it's... I was just talking to Magical Mike about this in Discord. He said, oh, I kind of hope it's not Utopia, because isn't the point to go somewhere new, to stop wanking off Guild Wars 1? Isn't the point to go on and on and on? That's my phraseology there, not his. And I think he's got a point with that, but on the other hand, we know so little about Utopia. They basically have freedom. Here's another cat. They basically have... And another one. And another one. They basically have the freedom to do anything they want in Utopia. It's just got like that slight mist connection, right? And the mist connection lines up with demon-y stuff. Also, that napkin art on the studio blog post update thing. If you like I said to Boots at the time, if you say that they're like Jade Construct companions or whatever, then the Masart were making those. I'm kind of into the idea of Zoteka and a Utopia thing. If it's the place that, or one of the places that the Masart society went to hide before the original Titan invasion, or during the Seer War, sorry. If there's a huge amount of Masart there, I think that could be really good, and that could redeem elements of Season 3 for me, and that could be lots of fun. And as well as a platform, as a segue to look maybe at the gods a little more. That's a weird topic as well, I know, but there are still so many important, I wouldn't even say like teasers, but serious dangling threads about Balthazar's characterization, about Lissa helping him, all that kind of stuff. These are serious. They're not just things they could pick up. They're like plot holes, right? So I think Utopia as a platform to spring off and talk about some of that stuff also is really good. So for a couple of reasons, I think it's an okay idea. I do. And I know it's still like, oh god, can we finally get our Guild Wars? Well, we'll be out of it after that, won't we? So, you know, like one expansion about, say, Lissa and Lissa's madness or something, and how it's connected to the phenomenon below the Jade Sea, and, you know, maybe it is going to come down to something as banal as, oh, Lissa's been infected by a variety of void magic. I think these all sound kind of lame on the surface, but it's all about the execution for me, really. I don't actually mind very much. All I care about is that they just tell a good story, you know? Like, a character like Bangar I loved, he didn't have to be in a story about Jormag, did he? He could have been in any story. I mean, to a certain degree, it's kind of natural he came from a story about the Char Civil War, but yeah. I think we're pretty much explored there. Don't let me ramble too long, because I know we want to get to the story. And I think this will be just a slightly shorter one, I think, today, just to sort of kick us off. But, yeah, and just to people in chat as well, is anyone in chat listened to these and kept up with these? And if so, what's your general vibe about them? Are you positive, like the people in the Spud Club Discord were? Or not so much? Alright, okay, so yeah, there you go. Thousand Islands. I don't think I've missed anything. The Mystic Forge transformations is probably the major attraction here. Oh, we could sky scale onto it, couldn't we? Oh, I was so hoping to see, even if it was just like a cat, but just something, some little thing right on the top of that. Well, there you go. Okay, so that's the Thousand Islands. Let's hit up our achievements. And as far as I know, he's just like there at... Oh, here we go. Tyrian surface. Oh, where are we on the surface? Oh, that's interesting. I always get some novel enjoyment out of this as well. When you see where you're like, I think the Fractal lobby is like beneath Claw Island or something. This makes a lot of sense though. That's good. I like where they picked that. Oh, there's an underwater golem. You should check where you are in the world map, WP. Yeah, I did. Thank you for the advice, JT. Can anyone go to this area? Well, no, it's a gem-gated thing. It's like a convenience item that comes with an area of the world. See, I still believe in a gem store where you don't just buy skins, but you buy quests that reward skins. I think that's like a micro DLC model that I'm describing there. I think that's a really satisfying experience for the consumer. But obviously, it's a lot more work, so it's easy to just waffle out shit like that. Okay, so as you guys probably know right now, if you quit what lies beneath, you will be stuck on deep... Oh, no, you're not stuck on deep research. I think we might need to play this, though. Wait until your allies have updates to report. See, I think Gorik is the update to report. I got an achievement from this story step like 3 days ago that I didn't know about. You know the story step where you're here and you give the items to the people at the quarry and then you feed the turtle and stuff. Once the instance opens with a guy getting injured over here. And there's a hidden achievement, which is to beat the whole thing, which means you're basically down there in the entrance of the mine. And then without any indication or clue, you have to turn around and come all the way back and check in with the guy. It's quite a cool little achievement. I like stuff that's like weirdly obscure like that. And he goes on about, he basically fucks with you. He just messes you about. So, I mean, it's not like, there wasn't a fascinating story there, don't get me wrong, but yeah. I could have sworn it said that it was at the workshop, or the workbench or something. Is it possible that Liz didn't beat this story? I think she did. She did. She doesn't have all the achievements yet. I really like these as well, like upgrading the icon to the one with the like the crenellation around it or whatever. So there's just a scrapper. Monsieur Jade. That's a nice bot name from this player. Oh, we can turn our culling back up a little bit here as well. Speaking of culling, that patch isn't in yet, is it? I think they've got a culling update coming. Where you can cut out a lot more animations from other players, unless they're like in your squad or whatever. Is it bugging out? Try reloading. This is the spot. Alright, I'll try and reload it. It might be because I was on the wrong story step or something. You never know. Someone tell WP it's called the Thousand Seas. Title needs to be corrected too. It doesn't need to be corrected. I don't need to satisfy your pickiness on that. We could just leave it. And mildly troll people. In a sort of satisfying way that only a supervillain would relate to. Oh, that's in June. The culling thing's in June. You saw on Reddit that for some people this is bugged, and they need to replay the whole story to get it. Well, hold on. We have a marker now, so I think it's okay. Check in with Gorik in the Gyala Delve. So what's kind of weird here as well, right, is we're in Delve into the Haze achievements, but we're technically doing the next patch, which is not... Oh, no. Oh, is that why? That's very clever. They thought ahead. It's called Delve into the Haze. Not What Lies Beneath and not Deep Research. So I think this achievement category is just going to expand on the next one. I don't think that they'll go much further than this. So, but then what about the meta achievement reward? Oh god, I really don't know what to think about the size of the next patch, guys. It could be so small, based purely on terrain to cover. I just hope that the next release is loaded with stuff outside of the map, like the conversation with Aurene that should probably happen, checking in with any of the characters we met throughout End of Dragons. Do you know what? Most of these characters are going to end up feeling like Zephyra, I think, which is that they'll have their time in the sun, they'll be made out to be really important, and they'll just be abandoned. And I suppose to a certain extent the Icebreed Saga characters are at risk of that as well. Krisha, for example. But they're getting talked about a bit. All right, here we go. Gorrick's research journal. Here we are. After all that waiting around. Gorrick's research journal hums with mechanical energy. It looks like there's a recent entry recorded on it. Okay, listen to entry 1, and let's just check real quick if we actually have dialogue on. We don't. So we go. Grandmaster. Okay, so we really didn't get much from that. I'm very happy, okay, that I was not waiting on tenterhooks for that. Because I think you had to wait 2 weeks for the first one, didn't you? Again, I don't know how many there are as this goes on. I gotta say, guys, isn't it really easy to forget that we're in a Jade crisis right now? I mean, this is, again, why the patch needed some stuff outside. Or when we were at the Red Duck, they could have had power go out while we were eating our meal or something, you know? I thought about that. I never talked about that when it originally came out, but wouldn't that have been a little bit better? Anyway, Gorrick's research journal. Listen to entry 2. Ooh. It's a nice touch with the Kappa. So, again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, whether that be in just the regular comments for me to look at later or live right now. As far as I understand, okay, End of Dragons established that Void is what happens when all the magic the Elder Dragons were regulating and hoarding for themselves. If they all release it, it mixes up, and it becomes this completely unstable, chaotic stuff that we called Void, all right? And it was destroying reality. And so we needed Aurene to filter it all herself, and she's doing that. That's fine. However, here we're finding there is still Void, but the components that make up this new Void, the Void here in the Jade Sea, are different. There's a new element. It's not the same as the Void we were dealing with. It's not the same mixture. The end result is something acting in a similar way, but there's a certain different component in there. And that's what Gorrick's researching, and entry 2 has just revealed that this new component is a byproduct of demons. So is that essentially saying demons are releasing a kind of magic that is mixing in? Because I assume that this new type of Void is basically all just magic as well. And yeah, there's a lot of really good... I don't know whether I really sat down and, you know, talked this through with you guys, but there's a lot of interesting implications to the idea that you can have different flavors of Void. You know, it was strawberry flavor that the Elder Dragon cycle was dealing with, but in the Mists, you know, there's vanilla flavor, and on this other realm in the Mists, there's banana flavor, and they all have slightly different properties and produce slightly different creatures and stuff like that. You know, and I do actually think it's a worthwhile thing to attack and discuss and open up, because once End of Dragons revealed to us the Void, it kind of they did it very quickly, and it kind of ended very quickly. And I think there were a lot of weird questions about how is Void different to just the Mist themselves and all that kind of stuff. So I actually do kind of like that we're still sticking with it a bit. I know it's kind of just like a lame boogeyman that they've swept in. Oh, who's the next big bad? And I think that would be dangerous for ArenaNet to do too cack-handedly. But remember, this new like style of storytelling they want to do, that one of the reasons for the mini X-Packs is they want to be able to do a story in an encapsulated way and then move on to a different story and then move on to a different story. And that in some way will be better than doing one long story about the Elder Dragons. Personally, I think that entire line of thinking and that rhetoric I just gave you is nonsense. I think that just because the overarching idea of the original story was Elder Dragons doesn't mean you can't create infinite numbers of varied and captivating mini-villains along the way, and allies and foes and rivalries. You know, if they told the Elder Dragons story badly throughout the Icebrood saga, through End of Dragons, if they told it badly at any point, it's because they told it badly. It's not because of a fundamental issue with Elder Dragons. It's because the writers can't find it in themselves to be passionate about the Elder Dragons for whatever, their own lack of imagination or talent. I really do believe that. I think it's nonsense to say, oh, just do a mini story and then it'll be better. I mean, I do think that there's this thing of scope and like the broader implications of lore and like herding... What's the expression? Herding cats, right? They're running in all different directions, and oh, you can't tell this because you forgot about this stupid little detail. You can't do this because of this little detail. That's fine on that level. I appreciate those issues from a broader story, but I think that in terms of like all the moment-to-moment storytelling, it really has nothing to do with it, and we could have kept going. But hey, you know, these are the problems with writing the Elder Dragon story without a cohesive idea of where it was all going right at the start, which is not the fault of the people at the studio today, let's be clear, you know. Imagine you go in as a writer, and they say, oh, we're doing End of Dragons, we're ending the Elder Dragons storyline, it's been going on for 15 years. Oh, cool, okay, so where's it going? And they say, I don't know, that's for you to figure out. Okay, that's pretty fucked up, alright? So I kind of get that. And doing smaller stories will avoid that, at least. Alright. Gorrick's research journal hums. Listen to entry 3.
Case notes, entry 3. An unexpected visitor dropped by. So Lou, I thought maybe he'd come to check out my lab. He was ever here?
Yeah, he does hate things built without his approval.
But he seemed to take an interest in my work, particularly the previously mentioned hay samples. Of course, I was thrilled to recount my current hypotheses, but he seemed more concerned about potential health effects.
He's been really torn up about his crew.
I'll continue updates once confidentiality can be maintained.
Sorry, just curious about the research is all.
I'm getting sinister vibes here. I'm getting sinister vibes because I feel like... By the way, I cannot look at Cholmu without thinking he's a meta stand-in for the community. And they write Cholmu in such like an arrogant, I know better kind of way. You know, like this line here, he hates having things built without his approval. It feels to me, if we go along with that like metaphor, it's like the community being annoyed when ArenaNet goes for a shake-up. You know, I can't get it out of my head. I might just be being crazy, but seriously, you go through and you look at anything with Cholmu, it's nuts. All right, so he's concerned about health effects. Now, I think there's a sinister side to this. I don't think he's torn up about his crew, as Yao believes. I think he's looking to weaponize it. That's my guess of that. I don't know how you can have big lore, explosive lore speculation on the forums or anything with this kind of dialogue. There's not much to say, is there really? Most EOD characters WP. Yeah, I thought that about Cholmu as well. When I was first watching it, I was like, God, is Cholmu me? But, you know, that's the height of arrogance. Gorrick's research journal hums with mechanical energy. Listen to entry 4.
While I usually record notes,
Oh, you can't hear it.
events that transpired recently required a moment to process. It began when one of those Kappa pets got into my equipment, wreaking senseless havoc, smashed the A sample. The sample was small. However, hailing its contents in an enclosed area made me lightheaded. I knew it was unlikely to cause damage. Still, I went to recuperate on a cot at the medical tent. Once rested, I felt well enough to return to work. But when I opened my eyes, what I saw made my nausea return full force. Oh, Detective Rama. I mean... Am I interrupting? No. Just recording some research notes. I can get back to them later.
This is weird, guys, because I have the in-game audio really loud. It's super loud. It's being compressed, and I'm now scared that it being compressed is the problem. So, by the way, I basically inhaled none of that information because you guys have said it's so quiet. So, I'm going to try and turn off the compression. That might rocket the volume up. Can you guys tell me if you can hear it much clearer now? I think I had a gain on it and stuff, which I don't know. I honestly, because that issue I had before, I thought was an audio issue. It actually wasn't in the end. It was a timing thing. I mess with a lot of stuff. Can you hear the music and stuff much louder now? Yeah, I think it's just echoing the audio from the speakers, like it's not actually going through. Did that make any difference to any of this? It didn't change it at all for you guys. That's really interesting. No music at all. Alright, what if I do that? So it's just not outputting it. Oh, I really wanted to do just one video where we went messing techie stuff. What about now? Oh, there you go. Okay. Alright, I got it. It wasn't assigned to the right track. It's all good. I'm going to put the compression back on, because that's supposed to stop it blowing out. Alright, okay, let's replay that. That was a good one. I didn't listen. Oh, I can't replay it. Fuck. At the end, I guess I can replay it. Alright, I'm going to read it. You'll get my voice acting instead. Alright. Professional streamer. Yeah, I know. I'm saying, honestly, I'm turning a new page here. I really am. I'm turning a new page. Actually, one of the things that I've done with the move, right, is... It's been kind of invigorating the past week or so, because I've organised so much stuff. First of all, I don't know where I got 1,000 power cables from, or 1,000 USB cables from, or 1,000 Ethernet cables from, or 1,000 DisplayPort adapters, or HDMI adapters. I don't know where all these cables have come from, but I've got so many, it's unbelievable. And what I've done this past week is I've set all of them up. Like, they're all separated, they're all tied up nicely, and they're all in their own individual cable bags. I've got everything all right now. You know, and the next thing I'm going to do as well is I'm doing that with my clothes. I've got clothes, some super old clothes, some super new clothes. I've got clothes too big for me, I've got clothes too small for me. I'm going to go through and sort out all my... And I've already threw so many out, just in the process of moving. But I'm going to get everything really organised. I'm in a weird place at the moment. It's like a proper spring cleaning thing, right? And it is spring. Just about. Where I'm just organising stuff. It feels good. And I'm going to do it to my PC as well. It's already okay, to be honest. I've always been quite careful about that with all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels good. All right, sorry. That's probably really boring. Let's read what Gorrick said here, because, again, I missed that. Right, case notes entry 3. An unexpected visitor dropped by. I can't do Gorrick's voice, really. Chalmu. Oh, no, we already read that one. He's been torn off about his crew, just curious about the research. Alright, here we go, Gorik. While I usually record notes as soon as possible, the events that transpired recently required a moment to process. It began when one of those Kappa pests got into my equipment. While wreaking senseless havoc, it smashed a haze sample. The sample was small, however, inhaling its contents in an enclosed area made me lightheaded. I knew it was unlikely to cause damage. Still, I went to recuperate on a cot at the medical tent. Once rested, I felt well enough to return to work. But when I opened my eyes, what I saw made my nausea return in full force. Oh, Detective Rama, I mean, am I interrupting? No, just recording some research notes. I can go back to them later. Oh, okay, alright, this one's actually good then. So what could this be? Alright, I'm going to guess he saw Blish. Something Blish related. Because I think it's a personal trauma. Because he doesn't want to repeat it in front of Rama. It's something private, right? If it was purely like, oh, I was nauseous because I saw something disgusting or whatever, he would have got back to it. But he didn't get back to it. He was completely thrown off by the fact someone was listening in. And he left. So I think it's something very personal. Maybe a Blish-related thing, or he has forgotten about Blish and his trauma there, and it's a Timey thing. He sees a vision of Timey maimed or something. I don't know, something like that. But what does this mean for the gas? By the way, is this going to go into a big story where Gorrick is infected or something, and we get an outcast Gorrick arc or something? I don't think so. I don't think a major moment like this would be portrayed like this, you know, buried in between a bunch of these journals. But by the way, I will say, this is actually in the story journal, right? So this isn't missable, which makes it actually the best iteration of this so far. I believe that the Timey stuff was missable, the Bangar conversations were missable, but they've actually integrated this into the journal, which is like a 10 out of 10 for me. It means this is as valid as it can be, and they've just slowly released it. I really like the system at play here. And especially if this is used at the end of the mini-X pack, and then the patches between the mini-X pack could be good. Anyway, so I don't know, but I thought he was going to say that the Kappa was going to breathe it in and the Kappa was going to go monstrous or get harmed or something. So let's do the next one. Here we go. Listen to entry 5.
Case notes. Entry 5. Rana visited to check in after my Kappa incident, which I suppose still needs explanation. Picking up where I left off. When I opened my eyes, I saw something I don't think I'll ever be able to forget. Blish was sitting across from me. Not in his golem body.
Boom! I'm a genius!
But exactly how I remembered him from before his illness took over. He stared at me in a menacing way he never had before. And his body disintegrated into a mass of writhing beetles. They swarmed me. I can still feel the prickle of their claws across my skin. At the point I thought I might suffocate, they vanished. The next thing I remember, I was clinging tightly to Yao, sobbing. They comforted me until I could pull myself together. Once I found the words, I told them everything. They stayed with me for a long time. Then they returned later with some tea. I'm still shaken up and rather embarrassed about what happened. But I'm so grateful Yao was there to help me through it. I'm going to see Tiny soon. And I plan to tell her everything that happened.
Interesting. So, I really like this. The detail of the tea, the beetles. Obviously, remember, he's an insect fanatic. So the fact they turn into beetles. Also, there's something a little bit scarab plaguey about it. So, you know, if we're going to treat this really seriously, I like to think that maybe he's got some guilt wrapped up in himself about what happened in Alona with the Scarab Plague and all that stuff. And that's sitting with him, and that's affected his psychology, and that's why the vision is what it is. I mean, this is weird to speculate, though, because, I mean, how much does this dream or hallucination of a character matter? Yes, it's magically influenced. Is it a premonition of the future? Is there something timey-wimey about this new variety of void? The previous void was messing with space. This next one can mess with time, and that's why we're going to Utopia next and Zoteka. And that's why when Gorik breathes a bit of it in, he sort of has this weird experience. I don't know. It's interesting that they're doing this form of madness where, like, it's euphoric, you know? It's nice. It was pleasant to breathe. Everything was nice, but then suddenly got corrupted and shifted and changed. Again, I see Lissa elements here, I really do. It feels like the mind control-y sort of yin and yang. Because remember, Lissa is of two worlds, really. Lissa is sort of a duality. And I kind of like the idea that these are the two halves. I think going... You know, I really do. The more I think about it, the more I think we might be moving into a Lissa arc. I really do. Gorick's research hums. Entry 6.
Take note. Entry 6. I paid Tiny a much-needed visit and told her everything. She has a way of making me feel better. We also spoke about the implications. We think the unknown element I've been studying is causing these effects. What's most troubling is that this incident confirms my earlier hypothesis. These hallucinations aren't random. Based on the commander's experiences, and now my own, the delusions appear to target prime emotional vulnerabilities. The how of it all remains a mystery, but it does explain the demon's manipulation of one's senses. Now that I'm back, I plan to tell Rama and Yao about this development, though it seems they stopped by in my absence. They installed a few Kappa-repellent gadgets outside my lab, and left a kind note with a plated pea cookies. Picturing those two working together makes me smile. They seem on better terms lately. I hope the trend continues.
Right, so when they say the commander's vulnerabilities, the hallucinations aren't random, it's because we're vulnerable about our original mentor, you know, who we saw in this patch again, which is a bit played out, but I like the idea, actually, that they've played it out so much now that that's a plot point. Look, it's because the commander's really fucked up about this. In chat, someone says, WP, the Grimoire says, WP always mention Lissa. I don't think it's her. Well, hold on. It's right, I've mentioned Lissa a lot, but I've been very hot and very cold on Lissa. In the early days, I used to talk about Lissa a lot, and Lissa was my favourite. I was a Mesmer main originally, all that. I did like Lissa a lot. But actually, around Season 3, I think I went very cold on the Lissa stuff. Obviously, there's a real reason to talk about Lissa, because of the stuff to do with the mirror. But in terms of wanting to see her, in terms of feeling like that's where the story's going to go, I've been a bit cold on that, and that's not really been what I've even wanted, because I've been quite disappointed by the portrayal of Balthazar. He became very tangible and very real and very underwhelming as soon as I saw him. And I think that the same would happen with Lissa. So actually, I don't think I've really been advocating necessarily it too much. I mean, definitely it's been worthwhile, but like I said earlier in this video, there are plot holes now that going into Lissa would be a good idea to deal with. So it kind of just feels like a natural progression. So when I say it now, right here, it's kind of like I'm getting hot on Lissa again, which hasn't been true, I think, for many years. The how of it remains a mystery. We didn't really get much from that one. It must be weird writing dialogue like this, where you know that people are, like, desperate for morsels every week. So it feels like it all has to be high pressure, high intensity, like, hitting key things. If you do a laid back one like this, it actually services the storytelling much better, but, you know, it now feels unsatisfying, which is why it's good we can binge it. I do not know how many entries there are. My gut says 8 out of 10. This is 7.
Case notes.
Meeting Cormier was great, yeah. I thought Cormier was done well.
Unusual. Rama visited. That wasn't unusual. Though his demeanor was rather
Got the main one out of our way.
tender.
But keep an eye out.
However,
There may be some
Yao and
stragglers
Cholmu
overstaying their
also
welcome.
visited. Yao did most of the talking. Odd, as Cholmu's keen on speaking for himself. Yao explained that Cholmu had experienced hallucinations. I asked him to elaborate. Frequency, locations, etc. Rama made to leave, perhaps out of politeness, but Cholmu told him to stay. He said it's better we're all made aware. He didn't go into much detail. His visions were of a deceased friend, and they only occurred in the lower mind. Rama pressed him about the other crew members, but Cholmu claimed that none had voiced similar experiences. He originally chalked any behavioral discrepancies up to stress, but he realized too late that it may be something more. Cholmu's account seemed credible, if not a bit slow, and there are another data point supporting mine and Timey's theory.
That's true. See, Cholmu is me. See, Cholmu's keen on speaking for himself. I wonder if this demon is going to be the boss in the next patch, or Cholmu is. Entry 8.
Something unbelievable just happened. Cholmu visited again. Once certain we were alone, he began frantically rambling.
Yeah, it's me.
He admitted that he'd left out details about his hallucinations because Yao was present. Early on, Cholmu had worked on the forefront of the excavation. Alone one night, he heard someone run up behind him. Before he knew it, he was face down. He could hear the attacker hissing while bashing his head into the ground. Nearly unconscious, Chelmu felt the attacker start chewing his leg. He suspects it may have been trying to eat him. With the strength he had left, he cast off the attacker. He sat up to see one of his captains, blood staining her mouth. Their struggle continued, edging closer to a mine shaft. To keep them from falling, Chelmu tried to ram her backward. But in that moment, she lunged. Instead of hitting him, she flew over his back, free falling to the bottom of the mine. He was so shocked, he couldn't process it. His crew assumed the captain quit, as she'd recently been acting agitated. That's when his delusions began. He made me swear not to tell Yao, who'd known the captain. But I had to tell someone.
So, but he's not telling us, he's telling his log, right? Which we have access to because he trusts us and wants us to have this info. At what point did it become she? I don't understand. When was the captain introduced? Did I miss something here? Right, on this line, we don't know who the attacker is. Nearly unconscious, Chelmu felt the attacker start chewing his leg. He suspects it may have been trying to eat him. With the strength he had left off, he cast off the attacker. He sat up... Oh, that's what I blanked out on. To see one of his captains, blood staining her mouth. She lunges and falls over. So, but that doesn't really reveal anything, does it? That's not really... Yeah, they started going nuts and attacking each other. We know that. But the point is that he got attacked by a zombie and then started having hallucinations after that. It was after meeting a zombie, an outcast, that it began. So, what do we take from that? That the commander is at risk of more hallucinations? I mean, we already had one. This kind of, yeah, this story's a little bit defanged, considering we already experienced one of these hallucinations, and it was sort of, you know, it was 2 months ago now, and it was like, whatever. Entry 9, and we do have more.
Case note, entry 9. I have a confession. Despite Chelmu swearing me to secrecy, I couldn't keep his story to myself. I paid Tiny another visit and spilled everything. She was shocked, to say the least, but she was glad I confided in her. She echoed Chelmu's request not to tell Yao. There's no use upsetting them. I couldn't bring myself to do so anyway. Still, I feel better getting it off my chest. And as Tiny pointed out, if I was stressed, imagine how Chelmu feels. Between the guilt and the cruelty inherent in these delusions, it puts his behavior into perspective. While I was there, Tiny showed me something exciting. A prototype for a device that she, June, and Yao are working on. It's designed to control the stress responses the demon seems to feast on, then channel that power back at it. It's based on my research findings, paired with Yao and June's Jade tech knowledge, and Tiny's everything knowledge. We just might have a solution to our demon problem.
So that's 9 out of 10. Oh my god, have I picked the worst time to do this? Are we out of logs now? We are! Oh my god, dude! We're one away! Guys, oh well, look at that. That's what an advertisement for the game this is. You guys are gonna have to log in on next week, I guess, next Tuesday, to get entry 10 and see their thing. Oh, wow. I feel like we're hyper-fixating on a fairly minor thing here. They're all like, oh my god, it's so... But, you know, for these characters, through the major shit that they've lived through, it feels like we're sort of hyper-emotional about one little thing. But I think what's actually happening here is with the whole secrecy stuff that they're really saying, who knows what. The point here is that Yao is ignorant of what Chelmu's going through. And we're not going to tell him because, you know, imagine how Chelmu feels, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's kind of, you know, it's like a classic zombie storyline where someone doesn't know someone's infected. I think Chelmu is essentially infected. Chelmu will be ravenous before long. Probably. It's weird, guys. It's weird that we're doing all of this because, to be honest, we've done zombie and corruption and hallucination stories so fucking much. We just did 10 years... You know, if you're going to criticize the Elder Dragon arc, alright, maybe you don't criticize the fact that they're all big unthinking villains at the end, right? Because you can substitute that with lieutenants that have competence. Maybe criticize the fact that it's all about corruption and they're all just different flavors of zombie stories. You know, Core is literally a zombie story, all right, with the Risen. And then Heart of Thorns is a zombie story for the Sylvari. You know, it's all the same shit. It's, oh, I'm losing myself. Oh, can I come back from being a Mordrin? Blah, blah. It's the same thing, right? Bit of a break with POF, but, you know, the whole idea of dragon corruption is it's zombie stories. When you get to the Iceroot Saga, right near the end of the road, we're looking at, oh, this is a zombie story, but look, when you're frozen by Jormag, it's nice, and it feels like you're on vacation, and it's the same fucking thing. It's hallucinations and zombie stories. You get to End of Dragons, you cut it all away. Now what have you got on the table? You've got this vampire stuff. You've got a Jade crisis, okay? You have the world, the land in crisis because it's reliant on a power source that's running out. Big ticket, awesome ideas, and you give us a zombie story. I don't understand that. Also, I'm not in the mine, ArenaNet. I shouldn't be getting the haze. I don't really quite get that idea, but that seems to be what we're going with here. Am I a zombie story too? I am indeed. Well, you guys don't realise is I got zombified. And that's why I play so much Call of Duty. Why is this build not a catalyst build? Oh, I have my templates a little bit messed up there. Well, there you go, though. So that's the story. We're caught up now. That was not as big as the extra life thing, I must say. But yeah, so, and I guess, what's this device? Let's reread this once more, because I really don't have too much else to speculate on here, guys. While I was there, Timmy showed me something exciting. A prototype for a device she, June, and Yao are working on is designed to control the stress responses that the demon seems to feast on. So, it's like Valium, is it? It's Magitech Valium. It stops people getting stressed out, so the demon can't feast on your dreams. I mean, really, guys, this whole connection of, like, emotions and shit into it, I really think Lissa. I know I might be a bit of a broken record. Alright, it's a fair criticism. But it feels somewhat connected. It feels also, though, like a lot of this is all set up for the mini-X-Pack, the next thing. When really what I want is more conclusion to...
He took a swing at you?
Cantha. But maybe it's both, actually, because, I mean, it is a conclude, because we're looking at the void still, aren't we, really? Or a flavour of void, so it is conclude-y. There's very few characters involved at the moment as well. And I think a lot rests on this next patch, I must say. I know we say that before every single patch, but I feel like a lot does. Just in terms of where it sits within the story and what they have to get through to us before we now move on to the next big thing. Alright, so that's about it. That's really the video for today. Just a quick one. I will be here tomorrow, without a doubt. Tomorrow will be the next one, and what we're going to do is we're going to be in Tomb Raider, because I want to finish that series. We're very, very close to finishing it. I haven't played it for like 3 months, and I would like to do a video where I'm like, oh yeah, we go here, and here, but it's going to be a bit of a funny one where I'm out of the loop. But that might be interesting to see, nonetheless, with me a little bit out of the loop. FF6 will also come back. We're going to just pick up like it's the start of, or the middle of February again, really, basically. And for those of you excited about FF14, that is also very, very soon on the horizon. I just want to get these first 2 done. And yeah, so, and I can finally stop being cagey about some of the stuff that I wanted to do. Remember when I beat Hades? I was like, there's this game I want to play. We haven't talked about it since. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I don't have to. I do have a lot to say, but I'll save some of the anecdotes for tomorrow. Thanks for bearing with me throughout the move, and take care now. And I will see you. Join me on. You can drop comments on the YouTube video, obviously, or you can come to the Spud Club and you know, if you think there's some implications to this lore that I've missed, you can let me know over there. But yeah, thank you everybody. And look at that. There was no crash, no nothing. It was all good. Any plans to make a video stream about Extra Life 2022's Q&A section? Actually, I do kind of have plans for that, because there was a stream about Guild Wars 1 stuff that apparently was really exciting and interesting, and I kind of want to do a rebroadcast of that stream and see what they say and see what they do. That was something I wanted to do. I would like to do that. Is the Q&A really that good? WP, they did do a minor blog post talking about the other week's bugs incident. It's pretty cool. They gave us a little insight into the behind the scenes. Oh, really? Is there a new blog post up? I haven't seen that. To be honest, guys, I've also... Oh, I'll give you this little story here. I've been making Stellaris mods. And it's weird because no internet. What else are you going to do, really? You know, when I couldn't properly stream or do anything. To be honest, I could have done some, like, just regular recorded videos. But I felt like I was cheating on you guys or something. This is so weird, right? Okay, this is a very, very odd experience I had. But I released a mod on the Steam Workshop, right? Just this basic idea, which they've now released an expansion. Basically, it's dead anyway, but it's this army attachment thing, where I was learning how to, like, generate AI art. Do you guys remember I wanted to write this strategy guide, but... And then AI art started being a thing, and I realized I could fill the book with AI art, so I can essentially make my own concept art quickly and get my ideas across. So I wanted to learn about AI art. I wanted to learn some more stuff about coding and their specific language, and I wanted to use more Visual Studio and stuff like that. So I picked up this mod that I've had an idea for a while, released it, and, you know, people subscribe to mods on the workshop. It's a lot like people subscribing on YouTube. And I watched it. It released quite well. I've got like 2,000 subscribers or something, like 2,300 subscribers or something over there. Like, quite a lot of people are playing this mod. And I'm quite proud that it was a good idea and stuff. And, you know, you often suspect you have a good idea, but you don't actually know until it's verified in some way. It was cool, but as I was watching it, I felt like all excited and stuff. And I realized it was the same feeling I got when I started this YouTube channel. And... you know, people start subscribing. Like, I don't care about metrics anymore. I haven't for years, you know. I care about the fans. I care about you guys who are watching right now. I care about having a bit of a stable income, but I care mostly about what I've got and, like, having fun and actually producing stuff. I'm not sitting there chasing the endorphin rush of getting 1 subscriber every week or something. I'm not doing that. But in the early days, everyone does that, right? And so years ago, that's why I was like... And as I was watching more and more people subscribe to this workshop mod, I was like, oh my god, it feels like... this is what it was like to start YouTube or something. And I was like, oh god, and I've spent this time and I've done this with this, and what about all my actual subscribers? What about, you know, the big thriving thing that I've built with YouTube? I'm not doing it. And I felt like awful. I felt weirdly guilty. But yeah, I have another mod coming out super soon as well, which is like this planetary thing where I've created all these like features on different planetary landscapes, like on arid worlds and desert worlds and stuff. There's a lot to talk about, and I'll probably release that soon as well. But yeah, oh, speaking of Steam, we do have a Steam group as well on the Spud Discord that I was kind of plugging a bit when we were playing more variety games back in February. I'll probably start talking about it a bit more again soon. But yeah, there's stuff going on. I'll slowly fill you guys in. I am back now. And yeah, let's just get the ball rolling. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good lunchtime. Hope you have a good day. You want to drop any messages or thoughts about where the story's going? The Thousand Seas Pavilion. Let me know. Cheers, everybody. And I'll see you shortly. And I'm glad we got that audio fixed as well.